All right. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you for attending our webinar. We are excited to have you join us to learn about IMA's newest certification, FMAA, Financial Management Accounting Associate. The FMAA certification was announced in November and registration opened up yesterday on January 17th. This new certification is generating a lot of interest among both students and professionals. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to sharing information about the FMAA certification with you. A few administration details before we get started. This session is being recorded, and we will be sending out the recording after the webinar. All participants have been muted and will remain muted during this webinar, but we do want you to ask questions that you have about this certification. So please, at any time, add questions to the Q&A section of this webinar, and our presenters and panelists will be sure to answer those. Let's start with introductions. My name is Mary Patterson, and joining me today is my colleague, Tyler Skelton. Tyler and I are academic outreach managers at IMA. We work with colleges and universities to promote IMA certifications and other resources IMA offers to get their students career ready. I would also like to introduce our colleague, Ella Supanitsky, who is IMA's Vice President of Certifications. Ella will share some insights about why the FMAA was created, and will also be able to answer questions about IMA's newest certification. While planning this webinar, we also thought it would be helpful for you to hear from professors who have insight on how the FMAA certification can be a valuable asset to their students. We are very pleased today to have Kari Olson, Professor of Accounting at Utah Valley University. We were also going to have Monty Swain, but an emergency came up last minute, but we know Kari, being a student of his, will have some great insights about what Monty Swain was thinking about the certification. And then we also have Mike Deschamps, a professor of accounting at Mira Costa College. So thank you for giving us your time today, professors. For today's webinar, we'll provide an overview of the FMAA certification and explain who should pursue the certification, the benefits of earning the FMAA certification, and other details related to the FMAA exam. We will conclude with the discussion from professors, and we'll also answer any questions that you submit. So again, please use the Q&A function to ask questions at any time. Let's start off with some information about IMA. IMA is a global association with more than 140,000 members who are accounting and finance professionals working in business. Our organization has more than 300 professional and student chapters located in cities and campuses around the world. By joining IMA, students and professionals have the opportunity to not only network with accounting and financial professionals in their local area, but it also opens the door to network with professionals from all over the world. In addition to that, IMA offers resources for accounting and finance educators as well. We have the 3 globally recognized certifications, and with the addition of the FMAA certification, alongside with the CMA and CSCA, IMA is reinforcing its position as the foremost association for professionals working in accounting and finance roles in industry. We will now turn it over to Ella Supanitsky to speak about the FMA certification.
Thank you, Mary, and hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'd like to thank again our amazing panelists and my awesome colleagues, Tyler and Mary. I'm personally very, very excited about this certification, and I believe that it will open many doors and make a difference in the lives of the individuals and also in the accounting profession at large. There is a tremendous demand market for junior level certification in financial and managerial accounting. It's important to employers to fill their entry-level jobs. It's also important to our industry because, as we know, the number of individuals entering accounting profession has declined and continues to decline. But most important, it's important to the individuals, individuals like someone who is in their early career, and want to differentiate themselves as certified professionals, or someone who is a student who has an associate degree, or those students in their sophomore year of college and looking to get that first job, that first internship, and stand out from their peers. Also, think of non-accountants, think of professionals in IT, marketing, and HR, they all need to know the language of business, which is accounting. And the list goes on and on and on. We talk to all our markets around the world. We talk to our regional heads, and they said there is such a demand for this certification, and it's very important to offer it at the price that's reasonable. And I think I'm very proud that we're able to offer it at a very reasonable price. And I think it will cover the content that's so important today. Anyone today, regardless of the profession, needs to know how to read the financial statements. They need to know how to interpret financial statements. This way they can add value no matter where they are in their career today. So I'm personally very excited about this certification, and I don't want to spend too much time because I know you're all eager to hear the details. What does it take to sign up, and how long is the exam? So I want to pass it over to Mary and Tyler, but I will stay on till the end and help answer any questions you may have. And thank you again.
Thanks, Ella.
Awesome, thanks, Ella. And I'll be talking about what is covered on the FMAA certification. And as Ella mentioned, she will be on the call answering questions. So Ella, feel free to answer some of the Q&A as that goes through. But the FMAA certification, you'll see at the top of the screen, instills the fundamental knowledge and competencies in accounting and finance, allowing students and professionals to showcase their expertise to employers and build a foundation to expand their skills. So as Ella mentioned, that this certification was developed to address market needs, and based on input from the market, the FMAA certification was developed with these 5 key content domains. So I'm going to go through these, and this is just to provide a snapshot. So the first section that you have on here is general accounting and financial management. That makes up 25% of the exam. So this will include things like accounting terminology, debits, credits, T accounts, and other things. Those are just a couple examples. We also have financial statement preparation and analysis, which makes up 25% of the exam. So this will cover basic financial statement analysis, profitability ratios, for example. Next, we have planning and budgeting, which covers budgeting concepts and methodologies. That makes up 20% of the exam. Then you have cost management and performance metrics, which covers cost measurement concepts, variable and fixed overhead expenses. And then finally, we have professional ethics, which is important to the accounting and finance profession as a whole, but also very important to IMA, and that makes up 10% of the exam. So again, this is just a brief snapshot of what's covered on the exam. If you're interested in getting into the depth of the content of what's covered on the exam, you can go to our website. We'll provide that link at the end, and you'll be able to find the specific content, the content specification outline and learning outcome statements to find that information. So when you have a new certification, one of the questions that everyone asks is, who is this certification for? Is this certification a good fit for me? And the FMAA is a foundational certification in financial and managerial accounting. So it's very relevant to several groups of individuals, both students and professional as well. So listed on this slide, we'll have a few examples. Hopefully this helps give you a better idea of who this is for. So first off, we have the 2-year college student. The FMAA is ideal for a student at a 2-year college who started their business education. Maybe they've completed some introductory level courses in accounting, but maybe they haven't. Earning the FMAA can provide a student a way to differentiate themselves by showcasing that they have that foundational knowledge of accounting and finance topics. And some students at 2-year colleges, maybe your non-traditional students who are already working in accounting or they're working in business and they're taking classes to earn their associate degree. So next we have the four-year college student. These might be accounting or finance students who are pursuing a bachelor's degree. We encourage these students to consider the CMA in the future once they've taken or had a chance to take those upper division courses. But the FMAA could be a great way to demonstrate to them that they have the fundamental knowledge of accounting earlier in their academic careers. And by earning the FMAA in their educational journey, they will differentiate themselves in a competitive hiring market. So maybe they're interviewing for an internship position, for example. They'll gain confidence in their accounting and finance skills, and they'll prepare themselves for success on the CMA exam in the future. So we expect students who earn the FMAA early in their degree programs will be motivated to earn the more advanced professional certifications like the CMA. And in addition, I know we have quite a few administrative staff on here. We have faculty. The FMAA could possibly help attract some early business students to choose accounting as their major. Next, we have the MBA student. The next potential candidate, as far as MBA programs, they intentionally attract students from a variety of educational backgrounds, including many who have never even taken an accounting course before. So they could have undergraduate degrees in history, English, engineering. These students need to have a strong understanding of accounting and finance, not only to succeed in the MBA program, but also to be successful as future leaders in their organization. The FMAA is ideal for the MBA student to enhance their accounting and finance skills and knowledge, and also boost their confidence with these topics. And then finally, we have the business professionals. So there are many business professionals who are not working in accounting or finance, but need to have foundational knowledge of accounting and finance topics. So for example, this could be a manager that works in supply chain or HR, IT, whatever it may be, or someone who needs to review a budget each month. It could also be someone who interacts with the accounting and finance team at their company or even a client's company on a regular basis. So for example, Mary and I, we work with both accounting professionals and faculty. Do we use accounting in our day-to-day? No, but would it benefit us to have that foundational knowledge of these topics? Absolutely. So we're actually, I'm announcing this now, and Mary, I think we're committed to doing this now.
We are now, yeah.
We're committed. But Mary and I are both studying for this exam in the March testing window, and we think it'll be very beneficial for us, even if we're not using this on a day-to-day, but to be able to have those discussion and that knowledge, I think will be very helpful. So a little nervous about it, but I think we got it.
One thing that I'll just jump in that made Tyler and I do this is because we don't have that accounting and finance background, but we're dealing with very intelligent people that work with it. It honestly is going to give us the confidence, you know, when we're talking even to your students and to you as the faculty as well. So, yep, we're studying for it. So if we can do it, anyone can. So
yeah, and that's a good point, because you know, for the CMA, it's not going to make sense for us to take that. We don't have the accounting background for that. We aren't planning on getting the 2 years of work experience. So this is a great certification for us that we can actually take, because most of the time when we're talking about certifications, we have no plans on taking them. So the fact that we actually can sit for this one and go through the study process, I'm excited for it. So we told you who the FMAA is for. So now we want to show you how it fits with IMA's other certifications. So you'll see under the FMAA, it's again, just to recap, it's for the 2-year college students. They could be in the accounting program, they could be business students. It's for the 4-year college students that are early in their academic career, or they're trying to give themselves an edge to start off their career. But it could also be for business professionals working in HR, marketing, operations, business development. And in general, when we take a look at the CMA Certified Management Accountant certification, it is mainly for 4-year college students that are in accounting and finance. It could be for early and mid-level accounting and finance professionals. And then also CPAs that, are, for example, are moving from audit to industry, or you have those that are looking for a career change. And then when we take a look at the CSCA, which stands for Certified in Strategy and Competitive Analysis, this is intended for credentialed accounting and finance professionals who are seeking more of a specialized skill set in strategy and competitive analysis. So For this certification, you must hold a CMA, a CPA, and there's other recognized professional credentials as well. But you have to hold one of those in order to pursue the CSCA. But as you can see, earning the FMAA could be that first step or building block for launching a successful business career. So I wanted to also cover some of the benefits of earning the FMAA. So first of all, you'll gain confidence to be able to speak that global language of business and demonstrate your proficiency in the fundamentals of accounting and finance. So I think for Mary and for myself, that is something to help us gain more confidence when we're talking to the CFOs or we're talking to accounting faculty. The next is demonstrate your skill set. So learn to apply managerial accounting and finance principles to real world situations, enhancing your skills and value to your employer. Then we have advance your career. So take that first step in the certification journey to start your career with an impact, and then stand out. Differentiate yourself as a certified professional and meet the global standard of accounting and finance fundamentals. So as you'll see, the FMAA exam is very attainable. So here are some general details about the certification. The exam is 2 hours in length with 80 multiple choice questions. There are no eligibility requirements to take the FMAA. And by that, we mean you don't have to have a degree or a certain amount of work experience to sit for the exam or education experience to earn the certification as well. Like I mentioned earlier with the CMA, there are some of those barriers to entry for that certification, but with the FMAA, there are no eligibility requirements, which makes it a very attainable certification. The average study time for the FMAA is approximately 50 hours. This is going to vary by individual. So for someone that maybe has taken a couple of those accounting courses, you might not have to spend as much time. But for someone like myself, I haven't taken an accounting course in over 10 years, so I'm probably going to have to spend a lot longer than the recommended 50 hours. The cost of the exam is normally $299, but for this March 2024 testing window, it'll be $249. Most students will need to purchase study materials to aid in their studying, and as of now, you have Hawk International and Gleim study materials available for the FMAA certification. So to start the exam, it will be offered for the March 2024 testing window at the Prometric Testing Center. Registration for the window is now open. It actually opened yesterday, so you can go sign up for the exam now. There will be another testing window later in the year, later in 2024. We don't know exactly when that will be yet. And then our hope is that in 2025, to make the exam available on demand. So meaning that it'll be available year round and not during specific testing month. And finally, like all professional certifications, FMAA holders will have to fulfill an annual continuing professional education requirement. And for the FMAA, that requirement will be 15 hours per year. But what's really nice about the $49 annual renewal fee is that you will have 15 hours included with that fee to earn your continuing professional education. So hopefully this gives you a better snapshot. I think later Mary's going to talk a little bit about the FMAA handbook if you want to find more details about the exam and what to expect. But hopefully this gives you a nice overview of what the exam format looks like. So now we'd like to hear from our special guests on their thoughts about the FMAA certification. And I want to turn it over to Kari Olson, Associate Professor of Accounting at Utah Valley University. And I know Kari had some great thoughts about the certification. So Kari, I'll let you take it from here.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler. And it's great to be here and talk about the things that IMA are doing. One thing that comes to mind as I think about this certificate and how it will help this certification and how it will help business professionals and the students at my university. Often we think of certifications as kind of like capstone, right? The end of an educational experience. Let's go take, as Tyler mentioned, a CMA exam or a CPA exam. What's a little different about this one is for one group of people, it's kind of a springboard where we have early on, students can gain some credibility, differentiation in the workplace. At my university, about 80% of the students work full time while going to school. And so to be able to get them into accounting jobs with a differentiated certification like this is really helpful to them. And it kind of wraps up the fundamentals in a valid way to the marketplace, instead of, oh, I took a class. No, I actually have a professional certification that can have validity in the marketplace. The other group that's interesting is the MBA students, and often we think of those as poets and quants. Our poets are the people with the background in history and humanities and sciences who are, in a career pivot or gaining managerial roles. And the quants are the finance and accounting people. And what I see is I get a lot of students. We run a boot camp at my school, kind of an accounting, 8 hours in your face, all the fundamental stuff. And even after that, the students that are the less accounting background, they've got a gap and they need something to pivot to. And I like the design of this exam because it allows that gap to be filled for those MBA students. Same thing as Tyler mentioned, working professionals. And so if you think about it in that sense, right, it's either a springboard or it's a gap filler, but it comes with the validity that's beyond just, I took a class. I think that's a really nice thing to present to people as they look towards the marketplace, to differentiate, to have credibility as they go into that. And the nice part is it's not that intense. 50 hours is really not that much. And I think a lot of students can take their fundamentals and spend 25, 30 hours. They'd probably be able to do this if it's, really recent. So, it's not a huge ask in terms of student time, professionals' time. If they're studying at night after work, you don't want to be doing that for hours. So it can fill a gap quickly. And I think, because it has the backing of the IMA, which already has great credibility in the marketplace, that's very helpful. So I can see very easy study plans, sitting to the test and really helping students and working professionals to go do this. The other part is I think it ties, and I'll just maybe close with this, is it ties so nicely to what happens in the business core of almost all business degrees. And so whether it's a marketing person, if it's a supply chain person, instead of just getting maybe like a minor, as we think of that, a minor in accounting or a minor in finance in an educational setting, this can broadly apply where those type of students in the business school, hey, why don't you get a professional certification in accounting, finance? And that's a little bit different, right? And it carries potentially more external credibility into the marketplace. And so I like what the IMA has done with this and think there's many opportunities to easily integrate this into educational programs. So.
Great, thanks, Kari. We're going to move on. Again, Monty wasn't able to attend. He had emergency, so we'll go ahead and go to Mike Deschamps from Miracosta College.
Hi, everybody, and I want to thank the IMA for letting me join this webinar today and kind of represent my community college brethren. And I'm always excited when I find that there's going to be a certification that has relevance to what we do in the community college sphere. High school, we started looking into this type of pathway about 10 years ago. We created a program that now ties to the enrolled agent exam. We recently instituted one that ties into the Intuit professional bookkeeping exam, and now we have this one. And this one especially excites me because when you look at our students, our business students, you can essentially put them into two broad categories. You have those that are on the transfer path, And you have those that are looking to get some technical skills that are going to allow them to go out in the workforce and start working. And obviously there can be some interplay between those two groups. And particularly with the career and technical people, it's not so much as a terminal point, but just to get some skills to start working and see if they have the ability to make headway in that particular field. And so now I have a certification that's going to apply both of these in my business and accounting programs. And I just think that's wonderful. And the other thing that I love about this is that, back in 2012, the US Department of Education came out with this paper that really talked about where do we want career and technical education to be going, particularly at the community colleges. And part of that was coming up with pathways that would lead this type of certification. And when you look at that document, that was kind of the impetus for changing Perkins. And I'll say why that's really important, because from a community college perspective, Perkins is a federal grant that now under its new iteration, Perkins 6, allows you to petition for grant funding to be able to develop not only new curriculum, but also to perhaps fund some of that initial test taking with your students. And I can't tell you how important that is, because like many professors, but particularly at the community college where we are not there to do research per se, but we are there to teach, they're very busy. And when you talk to them sometimes about, well, we want to develop this new course pathway, their eyes kind of roll and go, on top of everything else you're asking me to do. But when you can tell them there's going to be grant opportunities to help fund some of that work for you, then you're getting a totally different response in the way they want to approach it. And in addition to Perkins at the federal level, many states have grant programs where this type of process would be eligible. In California, we have something called Strong Workforce, and that is another way for people to be able to get funds to fund this experience. And again, one of the things that we hear as community college instructors all the time decade is, hey, we need to see valid performance data about how your students are doing. And that can be very difficult at times, because even if our students are on a transfer path and they're successful in their first 2 years of college, it's very hard for us to track them when they go to the four-year school. And then if they're on the career and technical path, trying to get a certificate in bookkeeping or accounting or taxation, we don't necessarily have the ability to track them. But yet, if they get this type of certification, that allows us to say, look, they went through our program, they achieved this, that's a substantial data point for us. And in addition, because not just the verifiable data point of they get something worthwhile, but they're able to use that to engage in a profession that's going to provide a sustainable and living wage with employment opportunities. I mean, that's it. That's a home run. And that's what we're looking for. And I think that's why this program is going to have a lot of importance at the community college level. And I want to touch back upon something that Kari talked about, in the fact that, the first thing I did when I heard about this, I downloaded the exam content outline, and yes, I'm an accounting geek, and I started cross-referencing this to our curriculum in financial accounting, in managerial accounting, in economics, and in our finance class. And again, going to Kari's point about maybe some students don't need to spend the 50 hours. When I look at how much of our curriculum already ties to some of the content outline, I concur with that. I think a lot of my students, if they were having the mindset of this is going to be one of the goals that I'm going to be looking for at the completion of my classwork here, then I think they probably could do it in about 25 or 30 hours of, outside preparation to get ready for the exam. And I think that's important, because in today's environment, a lot of students are very eager to engage with the workforce as early as possible, and then maybe pursue their education along with their workforce. And so something like this, which I think has a very manageable point of entry and an off-ramp to success, is going to be something that appeals to a lot of people. And particularly, for my students at the community college level, to be able to get this level of certification, with the IMA behind it and all that entails in terms of recognition, and to be able to put that not just on a job application, but on a transcript to a university, I can't tell you how invaluable that's going to be for them.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. And thanks again, Kari. We're grateful to have both of you on to give your insights on this certification, and we're excited to work with you both. So now I'm going to turn it over to Mary, but actually before we did that, I was going to do this earlier, but forgot about it. But I wanted to see who is all on the call here. So there should be a poll popping up on your screen now. And if you could please select, if you could choose the option that best describes your role or affiliation. I hope I had the majority of those on there, but I just wanted to get an idea. We have a lot of, it looks like right now, the majority of college and university faculty on.
Faculty and students, so that's good.
Yeah.
So. Well, good.
Awesome.
Hopefully this information is helping you with this webinar. So I want to go over just some fast FAQs. I've been watching some of the Q&A, and I think a lot of it we're going to cover. So the first one is, are there any prerequisites to sit for the FMAA? And the answer is no. So unlike the CMA or CSCA, where you have to be an IMA member to even sit for the exams, this is different. So there are no prerequisites. There's no educational requirements. So a freshman or sophomore in college can do it. The 2-year colleges, someone that just maybe didn't go to college, but yet they found themselves doing some bookkeeping or accounts payable at a company, this would be great for them. So it's definitely opening the door for that. The next thing is, what is the format of the FMAA exam? The exam is 2 hours long with 80 multiple choice questions. So it's a very doable exam in order to get this certification. Questions that Tyler and I have gotten a couple of times: can I take the exam remotely? No. So candidates will need to go to a local test center, so a Prometric test center, to sit for the exam. And that's going to probably remain true for this certification. When can I take the FMAA exam? The FMAA window will be open in March of 2024, and registration opened up yesterday, so you can start registering for it now. There will be another testing window at the end of summer. More information coming for that, but the best thing to do now, if this is something that you're in classes, you're thinking about, and you're thinking, man, this is for me, highly recommend going for that March testing window. How much does the exam cost? So this is another kind of a bonus to go for the March testing window. The regular price of the exam is $299 US. But for the introductory price of $249, that is if you are going to go into that testing window of March 2024. Candidates will also probably need to purchase review materials separately through IMA's education partners. We already mentioned Hawk has their courses. Gleim is about to release theirs, and I think we have a few others that are going to be releasing soon. There will be an annual renewal fee for this certification, and that is $49 to keep the certification active once you pass that exam. And like Tyler said, with that $49, we're also going to include some CPE courses, about 15 hours, that will go towards that requirement of your CPE. All right. So hopefully you've heard this and it's really gotten you excited to get started with the FMAA certification. So here's some steps that we think you should do after this webinar. Number one, visit the IMA website and go to the FMAA section. We also put a direct link on there. On that page, you will be able to enter your email to download FMAA exam questions. Also on this webpage, you will find the FMAA handbook, the learning outcome statements, and the content specific outlines for the FMAA. All of that can be downloaded for you, so you have all the information at your disposal to get ready for the FMAA exam. And then the next step would be to purchase FMAA study materials from one of our partners and start creating your study plan that's going to work for you. So like we said with this exam, everyone's going to be at a different level. everyone's able to do it, but that's where you need to figure out, okay, how many hours will I need to study for this and commit to it? That's what we want you to start thinking about now so that you're ready to sit for this exam in March. All right. Final step then is going to be to, Tyler, do you want to go back to a slide?
Yeah, sorry. There you go.
Is to register and sit for the FMAA exam in the March testing window. Again, you can do that at the IMA website. We also put the QR code there that will directly link you. And then after that, completing that step and registering to sit for the exam in March, you will then be provided additional information from IMA to schedule your exam in March at the Prometric Testing Center of your choice. So at this time, we wanted to, I've been seeing a lot of questions coming in. I've been seeing some answers, but let's get into it. Lisa, I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Lisa, it looked like she had quite a few she wanted to answer live. So Lisa, are you there?
Maybe not. Okay, well, I see a couple of questions. One that came in is, if I fail the exam, which we never want to think you're going to fail, but that is a question that we got, can I retake the exam in the same exam testing window? And the answer for that is no. So you would have to wait for the next testing window to take that exam. However, you will receive a readout of how you performed on that exam. So you'll be able to see if there's an area, maybe it's adjusting accounting entries that you didn't perform well in, then you'll know, okay, for the next testing window, I can go back and focus a lot more on that section of the exam.
Yeah, and Mary, I had a question, and this one's for Ella. I know this has come up a few times. And with a new exam, it's maybe difficult to answer this question, but what is the percentage or passing score needed to pass the exam?
So very good question. So the way we set passing standards for all our certifications, whether it's CMA, CSCA, and now this new certification, we conduct a standard setting exercise with our Board of Regents that consists of high-level SMEs. And they're all CMAs. They're all familiar with this material, academics and practitioners. So we work together with our Board of Regents and to set the passing standards. So it's not like you need to get 70% to pass. It really depends, and it will be exactly the same exercise that we will conduct this spring for the FMAA. So there will be a scale score to pass. For CMA exam, you know that the passing score is 360. So for FMAA, there will be a passing score that we will publish, but before we do that, we need to conduct the standard passing exercise, NGOF, that's another name for this exercise. And in order to conduct that, we also would like to get as much data. We want to get the results, the actual results. That's why the more people sit in March, the faster we can give you the passing standards. So please sign up now. Not only it's a great experience for you, but this will actually educate the board and our SMEs and make sure we set a very good passing standard.
Awesome.
Mary and Tyler, it's Lisa. I'm here. I was very busy responding to the and got locked into it. So let me know if you need me.
Are there questions that you think would be good for everyone to hear?
Yeah, I did have some questions about overlap between FMAA and CMA. And I wanted to just recommend that people go to the FMAA website on the IMA, to the page on the IMA website, because we do have the content specifications. So see that website there at the top of the slide? If you click on that, you go to our dedicated FMAA website, and if you go down a little bit, you will see the content specifications and the learning outcome statements. And I know we have a lot of academics on the line, so you all love those types of details, right? Content specs get a little more detailed than what we showed you on the slide. Learning outcome statements take you even more granular and more detailed. And so that I think will help answer that question. The FMAA is not as broad. It does not have the same broad coverage that the CMA has. The CMA has additional content areas. Also, I'd like to mention that the FMAA doesn't test things at as high of a cognitive skill level as the CMA. The CMA is an advanced professional certification. The FMA is more foundational. And so it will not cover things to the same depth. And it also does not cover as many topics. So some people are asking, well, is the FMAA a stepping stone to the CMA? It could be. That's the answer. It could be. So the FMAA can stand by itself for somebody who decides, you know, this is what I need in my career. I am maybe in a different, I'm a supply chain professional. I want to have good accounting knowledge and vocabulary. FMAA might be sufficient. I am not continuing my degree after 2 years in junior college. FMAA is sufficient. However, if you are planning, you've taken FMAA early in your college career and plan to move on to get a degree in accounting or finance, it could be a stepping stone to the CMA later. You have that confidence that I know my foundational accounting and managerial and financial accounting skills and content. And I've also had experience taking a professional certification exam at Prometric. So it could all help you toward another certification, but it can also stand on its own.
I saw a couple questions. I think they're from faculty or accounting professors. If you are interested in looking at this more in depth as a group thing for your students or starting to incorporate that into your curriculum, that would be just set up a meeting with myself or Tyler, and we can talk more about what your situation is, your school, what you're thinking about, because it's not going to be a cookie cutter thing for everyone. So we really just want to find out how this could benefit you and your students.
Right. And remember, we just announced this yesterday, so there's still a lot of buzz and excitement, and a lot of new questions are coming our way, and we want to work with you on that. One thing I do want to clarify, a common question was about the cost. And what Mary and Tyler were presenting about the cost of $249 in the March testing window and going up to $299 after that, that is the exam fee to take the FMAA certification exam. Preparation materials are separate. And if you go to the link that is listed on the top of this slide, you'll see some of our partners that offer FMAA preparation materials. And I know that one of them offers them on a subscription package for just $49 per month. So if you were going to sit in the March exam, you'd only need 2 months worth of that subscription to prepare for the exam.
Ella, I had another question for you. After passing the exam, when do I receive my certification? And I know, again, it's this first time around. It's the first time we're doing this, so it's going to be a little bit different than what we planned on.
Exactly. So the first window is when we're going to take the longest, because we need to conduct the standard passing exercise. We need to finalize the passing stand. We need to look at the statistics. So the first window will be very unusual. It may take 6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 weeks?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Sorry, 6 to 8 weeks, not 6 to 8 months. It may take 6 to 8 weeks to get that result. However, for the next test window and subsequently, when we go on demand, the result will be available right away. But for the next test window, and we've mentioned it will be sometime the end of summer, we're talking to our regional heads to see when is the good time. Because, for example, in Europe, people go on vacation, you know, for 2 months, July and August. So we were thinking maybe July would be a good month, but maybe not. So we will announce this shortly. There's definitely going to be another window for the students this summer or early fall. But second window, I would say, should be no more than 4 weeks to get the results. And in FY 2025, we hope that we'll be able to go on demand, because it's all multiple choice. If you think about it, those of you who are familiar with the CMA exam, we have an essay component, and that takes a while to grade. But multiple choice, it's all graded by the system. So we should be able to release results quite fast, but not for the first test window.
Tyler and Mary, another question I saw was about the types of job roles that someone with an FMAA could expect to have. And Ella, I know that there was a lot of research, market research that went into creating this certification and identifying the, who it would be for and what they could do with the certification. Are you able to expand on that a little bit?
Yes, of course. Yes, so based on our research, this is great for someone who is the junior accountant, junior accounts payable specialist. It could also be a manager. It could be a manager in accounts receivable department or in the accounting department of a small business. So the job titles went from junior accountant to manager and in different departments of the organization. And we also talk to our IMA's small business committee of the board, and they said that they cannot find enough people to fill those jobs. They're really looking for people with this level of knowledge. So many different job opportunities available.
Great. And I wanted to mention too, some people are saying, what kind of job can I get? Why would I get this? Whenever you put the time in and the effort into earning a professional certification like the FMAA or others offered by IMA or other organizations, there's one thing that can't quite be measured, and it's the confidence that you have in your capabilities and your knowledge. And that's going to come through when you go to interview for those jobs. You have studied this material, you've passed a rigorous exam that covers it, and that's going to show when you are in the interview room. So I know a lot of you are like, what kind of job can I get? Believe me, passing a certification exam like this will boost your confidence in yourself, and it will help you in the interview process to position yourself well for jobs that you're well qualified for.
Absolutely.
And Lisa,
Confidence is the key.
oh,
Yeah,
excuse
Mike.
me.
Go ahead, Mike.
If I could just add, Lisa, in community colleges, we get a great many students that are first generation college students.
Yes.
And your point about the confidence level is so important to them. And having a credential like this is going to make a world of difference.
Right. It's a differentiator. Look at it that way, everybody. It is a differentiator. You earn your associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, whatever degrees you have, but it's another way to develop yourself, to invest in yourself professionally, and it differentiates you from others. And it's a new certification, so it's not well known yet. We're working on that, by the way. But you can all be part of, helping it to become better known. And so when you put it on your resume or you put it after your name, comma, FMAA, you might have to have a short little elevator speech to say, I passed this certification that covers foundational knowledge in financial and managerial accounting. And right there, people will be like, oh, wow. And you did this on your own initiative. You weren't required to do it. And you have it in addition to the coursework that you've taken. It impresses potential employers.
I saw another question, and actually Mike touched upon this a little bit. So Mike, I don't know if you want to expand on this, but it says, how can a business school effectively promote and adopt the curriculum for the new financial and managerial accounting, as the FMAA certification? And is there support or collaboration available from IMA in this endeavor? So we would absolutely be able to help. And I'm sure we'll be turning to Mike to get his input and insight on incorporating this into their curriculum.
Again, going back to what we've been working on for almost the last decade, and what a lot of other community colleges are, is creating those pathways that are going to lead to sustainable employment for students. And one of the best ways to do that is a program like this, which gives you a credential. And I know at our school, our plan is already, and recognize, I only became aware of this maybe a month ago. And I was so excited, I started emailing my fellow faculty, and we've already got plans to put this in for a Perkins grant application to get funding to help us, really tie our curriculum to the specifics of the exam. And there's not that much work that has to be done, but we really want to have it done nicely so that our students know that what they're going to be getting in the courses is going to be excellent preparation for taking this exam, as well as be able to, perhaps do a review program on our own, or at least kind of a semi-review program to get people aware of what's going to be on the exam and things like that. So that's why when I was earlier talking Perkins 6 and some of the other state grant programs that might be available. I think the benefit of this particular certification is so significant to both your transfer student and those that are looking at more career technical aspects at this point in time is so excellent that, you know, I think you just have to get behind it. And I think that a lot of, you know, your applications for grants would be accepted based on that fact.
Mike, you've shared some great applicability in the junior college area. And I have a feeling we're going to have to ask you to be on one of our faculty Fridays in the future to share what you're doing in the Perkins area and get into more detail on that. But I think what's important here is that, you know, schools are trying very hard to align curriculum with practice and what's needed out in the profession. And a professional certification is a great way to do that. And it's a great way to measure those outcomes too. And Mike can articulate the benefits for the junior college, but I don't want to, I want to make sure that the anybody who is at a four-year university also understands how valuable this could be. I feel very strongly with the things I know about the accounting pipeline challenges that introducing this certification to business students early in their educational careers, freshmen, sophomores, who have just taken the introductory accounting courses, getting them to sit for this and earn it, I think it's going to open their eyes to the world of accounting in a different way than the course on campus can do. And it might help to address some of our pipeline challenges. It might show students early on, hey, you should be considering accounting. You're pretty good at it. Yeah, and you know, you can do a lot with this career path because we are having challenges with students selecting accounting as a major. And I think a lot of it is just due to low awareness, maybe a negative feeling toward accounting that isn't maybe founded in facts, isn't based in facts, but just, you know, something else. So I think that we can use this to generate greater awareness about accounting as a degree program as well.
Lisa, I absolutely agree with that. And I think that our plan is not going to be just to promote this to our already declared accounting majors, but to our business majors overall, because I think, you know, as Kari was talking about, someone may want to go and get an associate's degree in, say, supply chain management, but to have this certification to go along with that, that's a big deal.
It can open doors for manager positions, leadership positions, you know, upward career movements. So I agree. I agree. Any other questions? Are we good?
Tyler, if you want to go to the where we have our contacts, I saw that come up. And please, if we didn't get to your question, or if maybe it was a little bit too specific where we have to do some more research and get back to you, please email myself or Tyler. That this is what we're here for, to answer your questions, especially from if you're an accounting faculty and really wanting to know how to promote this to your students. But we're really excited about this certification. Just seeing the questions coming through shows the vested interest both from students and as professionals and faculty of how this could really help them moving forward. So,
and Mary, if I may just mention one more thing, in case we didn't mention this, for anyone who registers for this exam, you will get access to the exam support package. We made sure that we created a comprehensive exam support package, hundreds of sample questions, because I know students, they like to go through sample questions. So I wanted to mention that because I know that gets students very excited.
So that you'll get the exam support package once you register, correct?
Correct.
And remember, you can go to our IMA website. If you just even want to see, okay, what are some questions? There are, I think, 10 downloadable questions that you can see, and that will just give you a great snapshot. And I think, especially for a lot of the students, you'll probably see like, wait, I know this, or we just covered this in class. So definitely go to our website and check that out. All right.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for attending, and to Mike and Kari Olson, having your background and opinions on this really, I think was beneficial to those on the line. So that was very helpful.